Goes and we are live. Hello, 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 my loves, and welcome to the Carter Love Talk Show. I am your host, Deshae Carter, and episode is very special. It is the Alchemy of Healing with Melissa. So, before we dive in, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you be notified every time we post a video here on the Carter Love Network. Awesome. All right. So y'all know how we do it here. We always like to dive into how we met before we go into the interview. Um, as y'all know, I do a lot of online networking and I somehow came across her Instagram and I think it was a chakra healing that I seen and it just like spoke to me. So then I was like, I'm gonna share this. Like she got an event coming up. I don't know if I can go to that event, but I'm sharing it. And then they just kept coming up on my feed and I was like, I have to follow her. Followed her. And then I was like, as I kept seeing like your content, I was like, yeah, she has to come on the show. We need to learn from her. So I'm so glad to have you here today. And I'm grateful to learn a little bit more about you. So let us hear about you and how you show up in the community.
Yeah. Well, first, thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for bringing me on your show. I'm super grateful to connect with you. And before I share a little bit about myself, I remember that I think you started following me through, Mahika Maid, Desiree. She does like the crystal jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the one that I think we had like as a mutual person. And I think that's how probably I was like showing up in your feed, when you start following people the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of how we connected. But yeah, so my name is Melissa. I am a holistic wellness practitioner, spiritual coach, but I do offer a blend of different like energy healing modalities. Mostly people know me for like sound healing, but I do angelic Reiki, which is a little similar to the Usui Reiki, which is like the traditional one. And then I also offer more of like ancestral medicine through different like indigenous practices. I use a lot of my ancestor lineage practices through El Salvador, and it's a lot of plant medicine work. You use a lot of stones, and so I'm kind of like a blend of different things. So yeah, I've been in this work for a little over 6 years now, and I have my own studio in Los Altos. I just recently expanded in October, so I was in the same building, but I was getting busy with my group workshops, and I was actually renting out from different venues to do them. And I had told the property manager that I wanted to look into a bigger space, so I might be moving, but as things always happen in divine timing, I was able to get a bigger space in the same building. So that's where I'm at now. And I just had my first workshop here in the space actually yesterday. So I did my root chakra workshop yesterday, and it was really nice to feel like I had my own home to do these kinds of things instead of, having to rent it out. Because one, it's a lot of work and it's really tiring to have to carry everything everywhere.
Yes.
But it's also like really rewarding to just, do it in your own space. And a lot of my work is very intentional. So I like to add certain things that are easier to, just have in house versus like you having to take everything with you everywhere.
Yeah, not to mention your energy, right? You know what I mean? Like for me in my creative spaces, like I dance in that space. I sing. I create an environment and you have to recreate that when you pick up and go somewhere else. Even if
Mhm.
you went ahead of time to view the venue, you don't know who came through there and their energy and
Right, right, right. That's exactly what I tell people too. Like before I do any type of session or just like work with people, I always make sure that I cleanse the space and I set like a prayer not a like a religious prayer. It's more of like just me communicating with spirits and just trying to connect and basically bless the space before
Yes,
people come in. Um, so yeah, it's like it's a lot of energy and it takes a lot of time. So yeah, it's a lot of intentional work and
yes,
it's yeah, I feel you on that.
yes, yes. I love that. I love that very much. So your business name is Alchemy
Divination.
Divination. There it goes. So what does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I came up with this name through my own journey because when I first started to just even try to have my own practice for things, I was going through my own journey and I was like, how do I want people to like understand what they're coming in for to experience or like what is it that we're doing together?
Yes.
And I know that my name kind of is a little woo woo, but once you hear what it means, I think it makes more sense. So alchemy is to like the definition in the book is to transform metal into gold.
Yes.
So you're alchemizing something. But my intention with the name is like, I'm helping you come in to alchemize like any stagnant energy and we turn it into gold
Yes.
through divination. And divination is connecting to like higher consciousness, and just having specific like rituals, practices, whatever you want to call them, tools. But you're basically working with like a higher power energy to
Mm,
help alchemize like your body on your journey. So
yeah.
that's basically like I'm helping you transform your energy into something divine. That's
Yes.
kind of like
Oh,
the way that I like
so much.
that.
I love that so much. And it's
Thank
funny
you.
because I have questions here, but I'm like, I'm okay. So your to do the things you do, I would imagine it takes a lot of self-care because
Mhm.
your energy has to be right in order for you to step into these places. And this is something that I would imagine you do full time, especially because you have your own studio, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm just learning. I have the gift of insight, and so um I'm very intuitive, very empathic, right? And so I'm
Mm.
learning to stay grounded in that spirituality. And so I'm curious to know what you do to keep yourself so that you can share yourself and share your gifts with your community in your tribe.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really beautiful question, and I get it asked a lot, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Um, and it's funny because I honestly, I'm trying to, like, not make it, like, a long-winded answer, but I do a lot of things. So, one, I cook maybe, like, 90% of the meals that I eat.
Mhm.
Me and my boyfriend are big, like, cookers. We love to cook and we love to cook together, and, we have, like, a lot of whole foods. We like to, like, recreate our own, like, cakes, from, like, something
Yeah.
healthy. So we do a lot of that to take care of, like, the inside. Um, I also do, drink a lot of, like, elixirs for adaptogens, like lion's mane, ashwagandha. I know that those are, like right now, those are, like, a hot topic or people like
Trendy.
to
Yeah.
yeah, right? But the truth is, like, it works if
Yeah,
you
for
just
sure.
are consistent with it and, intentional. But, on top of that, I do sound healing for myself. Like, I will use tuning forks, like, almost every time that I like do a session or if I'm just like feeling out of whack. Um, basically, I'm still gonna give you like all the things that I do, but I basically do everything for myself, what I'm always like usually recommending for other people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, when I'm telling you to go outside and to connect with trees and stuff, it's like I really do that and it really does change something.
Mhm.
So, it's just being consistent with all the self-care practices. Meditation is always like a huge thing. And I know that like some people feel like when you meditate, you have to kind of have to be still or you have to be like quiet or you have to be in the dark or whatever. But the truth is, like, to me, I meditate throughout my whole day in different ways.
Mhm.
So like when I'm in the car and like we're at a stop, like I'll just sit there and kind of just start breathing and just like counting or doing something to just regulate myself. Um or I feel like exercising too is like a really big way to meditate.
Mhm.
Um doing like lifting weights, I like to lift weights, is like my favorite form of exercise, but I love to do yoga. All those things really get you grounded when you're basically like um, checking off the box for each energy center. Like you want to do something to cover each part of you. You know what
That
I'm
makes
saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that because that's what I had to remind myself. Oh my gosh. I had to remind myself because I'm like, Deshay, like layers, it's okay. Like I would get
Mhm.
fixated on like just journaling or
Mhm.
just dancing or just working out. And I'm like, Deshay, layers. Like you have all these different methods for a reason. But I
Yeah.
like that you said each energies. I feel like that's easier for me to be like, "Oh, okay, this is what we're gonna do." We're gonna
Yeah.
hit these these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's why I'm like, it helps to like understand that we're like really complex beings. Like
Yeah,
it's not just we're not meant to like just do one thing that's going to fix everything. Like
exactly.
there is layers like you said to it, and I think understanding like the energy centers is like the best way for anyone to really know like what you need, what pillars you need to check off for yourself. There's always like these different parts of us that need attention, and sometimes like you said, if you're so consumed with just journaling, maybe you'll forget to like go outside and like get physical. And there's like all these different aspects that throw our energies off just if you do forget some of those things. So I think as I've gotten older and just like with all my life changes, like I've learned that um, one, doing this kind of work, I don't take it lightly. And I always try my best to show up like very, very in such a like positive way, and some that I like whatever I have going on, if I have anything going on that's in my mind, like I leave that and that's separate from like, the container that I'm preparing for people. And same thing, like if I'm not feeling good, I will cancel something and just say like I need to reschedule, or I want to be 100% for people. I don't want to come into something halfway, because that also exchanges. Like I don't want
Exactly.
you to pick up on my bad energy from you trying to come get healed. Like it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, I can understand that completely. Um,
Yeah.
and I love that. I love that because that's one of the things we talk about here a lot is self love, self care, and
Mm,
different forms of healthy coping skills, right?
mhm,
But I think that one thing that has gone missed because again, like I said, I've missed it myself, is
mhm.
that it is important to have those layers, and not just get fixated on one thing.
Yeah.
'Cause nothing is really like a one size fits. I mean, like it's a one like it can be applied to other different people, but it's not going
Yeah.
to help everything.
Exactly. 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 Yeah. For sure.
Alright, I love that. So, how would you define spirituality? I am a person like you who has a background in religion,
Mm,
but I do see myself as more spiritual, and I think that sometimes people get confused with that, you know what I
mhm,
mean?
mm,
They feel like they're they butt heads, and I don't
mhm,
feel like it has to be that way.
mhm.
So I wanna know your perspective on that.
Yeah, so for me personally, when I think of the definition of spirituality, like in my own terms,
Mhm.
I would say it's like the study of yourself, like
Mm.
your true self,
Yes.
and understanding like all the different layers of what makes you you,
Mhm.
and not necessarily like what your body looks like, what your title is about. It's more of like the inside, the things that we can't really see, um, and that sometimes feel, woo woo or against the people. But
Yes.
to me, I'm like, it's really just like the study of yourself, like your practices, you understanding your energy, and like that we're electromagnetic beams. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just how I look at it.
No, I love that definition for sure because I believe for me, I became more spiritual the more I got to know myself. And that's
Mhm,
when I felt like I connected more with things, with nature, with people,
mhm.
and my intuition, my discernment, I feel like it all increased, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and so I love that definition because I feel like for me it's spot on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, what does it mean to balance masculine and feminine energy within yourself?
Mm. So, okay. So for the masculine and feminine energies, just to give perspective on it, it's like there's always duality in our world, right? So having masculine and feminine energy doesn't make you more feminine, more masculine. Like that's just what we're made of, right? We have two different sides to us. That feminine is all about receiving, and it's all about softness. It's also about shadow work. It's also sensuality. And then we have masculine, which is all about dominance, the, action. It's also about like the connection to the sun. So these different types of energy to me um, are like a blend of the different aspects of us. But to me, I always look at it from the lens of my parents.
Yeah.
And my parents, to give like context on it, is I feel like I had two extreme versions of masculine and feminine
Mhm.
because my dad was someone that I felt like represented a lot of masculinity. And in some ways it was like healthy masculine and some of it was like toxic masculine. But it was just like a very protector type of feel. Um, Also very like taking charge, um, and more of like, making you feel stable in certain things, right? Like that's to me like a strong masculine, but also having some sort of like balance with the masculine. They also have to have the ability to move through to the feminine, right? And my dad, as a masculine man, never shied away from showing his emotions and never said that it was like not manly to cry.
Yeah.
Like he would cry and still be willing to fight somebody at the same
Yeah. Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So it to me, I was just like, okay, this is a masculine man, but he knows how to feel his emotions.
Yes.
Um, and the feminine, like I said, it reminds me of my mom. And my mom was someone that was just like pure, unconditional love. Like it was just constant empathy and just loving energy, softness. Like you just felt like you're being taken care of in a sense of like being nourished, like your soul feels nourished, you know?
Yes. Yes.
To me, that's like a feminine feel. And, with doing like energy work, it does take awareness of like having those two type of energies to balance when you're working on someone's like energy fields,
Mhm.
because sometimes like there's things that need a little bit more of like a feminine touch to get
Yeah.
something released out of someone's body, or sometimes it does take like a little bit of a masculine touch to get that out of the body. So it's so important to like really understand that us as human beings, we have both of those in us. And just because we're women or just because we're men doesn't make us like have to lean into one side so much and like forget about the other side, because that's how literally you become blocked in energy centers. So
Mhm.
that's kind of like how I, through my lens, that's what it means to have like masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah, I love that because right, again, these are trending topics right now, right?
Mhm.
But it's a lot of people just passing on information that they're not living or that they didn't fully research, right?
Right,
Um,
right.
and that's been my experience. The way I look at it is just like with hormones, right? We all have estrogen and testosterone. The testosterone is still necessary for us, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's not it shouldn't be dominating the estrogen, you know? And so, that's just kind of how as I've been healing, that's what I've been noticing. Because I did live in my masculinity for years.
Mm,
Um, and so when this stuff started coming up in social media, I'm like, "Well, I don't wanna reject it. It's still a part of me, like, I don't wanna reject
right.
it. That's those are my problem-solving skills. That's
Yeah,
where when I'm thinking on my feet and I got a plan and everyone's stressed out and I'm like, "No, girl, it's cool." You know what I
yeah.
mean? That's where all this comes in, you know? So I'm like,
Yeah,
"How can we make this work?" You know? So I
right.
think it's important that people realize
Yeah,
you need both. It's
yeah.
necessary. And some situations require the masculine and some situations require the feminine, and that's just fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what we have them for. Like, that's literally why we have them, is to be able to tap into them when we need them, but it's like you have to also it's also understanding, that, like, when maybe you're stepping in too much into the masculine or stepping too much into the feminine in a situation that maybe requires you to be like the opposite
Yes.
energy. Um, and I think that that sometimes is where, we can get stuck because, we've all gone through something. We all have our story, but like you were saying, you felt like you've been in your masculine for years, and I can relate to that. Like, I feel like just before I got into this work and like really started diving into stuff, like I for sure was in my masculine, but then I had like such a big swing to my feminine sometimes.
Yeah.
So I didn't have like the healthy balance of it for a while until I started like doing the work. But yeah, it's just understanding like how much you need to like add into stuff so that you're balanced, not like overfill in one side or the other.
Yes. And I think that you touched on something that's important because you mentioned that sometimes we may be moving in one when we should be moving in the other. And I know for me, there are situations where I felt like I was supposed to, right? Like,
Mhm.
for example, when interacting with a man in work, right? He's supposed to be more dominant if he's my supervisor. But if you know what I mean? In some situations, I felt like I was moving in my masculine. And so I would hold back
Mhm.
and let myself be walked all over because
Mm.
I felt like I was supposed, you know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
it's important that we use discernment and
Yes.
really connect with our intuition so that we can be guided in those situations and know when to move.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
100%. 100%. 100%. You nailed it. Yep.
yes, because it
Yeah.
happens. Because we get used to what we think we're supposed to do, based off of, and that's why there's this quote that Kevin Hart says in one of his books, and he goes, "Let go of supposed to," because who is telling you?
Mhm.
Like, who's giving you this rule? Where did that rule come
I
from?
love that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
seriously.
who tells you what you're supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are just society pressures. Those are like either community pressures, religious pressures. Like those are things that we think we're supposed to do, but usually it's just stuff to soothe the next person. It's to benefit the next person. Uh,
Yeah.
and so I think that having some soul searching and some honesty and some guidance from our intuition is very important.
Oh, yeah. It's so true. It's so true. And it's that's like, I think as we all get older, we have more experiences that help us like understand that we're not supposed to do anything. Like we're just supposed to go through our lives and just
Yeah, that's what I
be
remind myself. I'm like, the only
yeah.
thing you're supposed to do is be 100% Deshay. That's it,
Yes. Yes.
know? And that's it, you know?
Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's like that's literally all that we're like supposed to be experiencing is just like whatever is supposed to be for you in the cards, like that's just what it is. And it's no one can tell you what you should do. Like I always tell people that I work with that I'm just supporting you through something as like you're the one that's healing yourself in the session. I'm just pushing it around a little bit and just assisting you. But it's like we're doing it together. Like it's working together. And that's because I don't know what you need to go through. And I don't know where your journey is supposed to be heading unless you let me in and we work together and then we can see and I can give you like tools there. But no one can really tell you what to do.
Yeah, yeah. That's another thing that I like to say on usually on my Beautifully Imbalanced podcast
Mm,
is you know your history. So
mhm.
you know what you're capable of. And at our core, we know what we're capable of because we know what we brought ourselves through. But we
Yeah.
also know, like you said, where we're going. And some
Mhm.
people on the outside looking in may be like, girl, you can't do that. Yes, baby, I can because I know where I came from. You don't. You don't know my whole story.
Yes.
Even if you did, you might not be able to wrap your brain around it because the vision wasn't given to you.
Yes, that part. That
But
part.
it took me a long time to stand in that, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Especially because when the opinion comes from a trusted friend or family member, you're like, they have my best interests. Maybe, you know what I mean? But again,
Yeah.
it's not for them to see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's always kind of hard, right? Like when it's family members or if it's like your loved ones and you have a vision of something and like you said, you know that they love you, they have the best interest for you, they do want to see you win, but the truth is like we all have our own blocks and we have our own fears
Yes,
and we naturally because we are trying to be protective of the other people that we love, we're trying to be more cautious for them, but the truth is like you can't you can't tell someone that you know what they should do. Like
yes,
you can't because it's like you don't have to be the one to live with the consequences that they choose of their actions. So
exactly.
how can you say something like that to them if you're not going to be the one to move through everything with them, like they might be willing to go through the challenges that they have to go through to get to the point that they want to get to.
Exactly. And those challenges may be necessary in order for them to get there. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? So
mhm.
there's lessons because there's so many lessons in different challenges, especially if you allow yourself to take that lesson and apply it. And
Yes.
I've learned that about my journey. So a lot of people don't understand. And so one of my biggest affirmations is I have the courage to be misunderstood because you're not
Mm.
gonna understand everything.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So I want to slightly shift gears because
Mhm,
you mentioned that you are in a relationship. In
mhm.
our intake form, you called it a conscious relationship, and I love that
Mm.
term. And so I want to know, what does a conscious, loving relationship look like to you?
Yeah, so okay. So I'm like, shout out to my man Carlos. So, um, so for me, our relationship, I say is conscious because of the steps we take like every day to make it conscious.
Yes.
And to me, what that means is like I was saying earlier, we cook together and we almost like do everything together. But the reason is because one, we genuinely enjoy each other's company. And I think a big part of that is because we took our time to get to know each other and we became like really good friends and we just noticed like how easy it was to just be around each other and literally sometimes we wouldn't do anything and just be there just to hang out with each
Yeah.
other and it felt like the funnest thing ever just to be
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and so so we've gone through like a lot of things together where we just kept learning, like, okay, we're having to kind of grow with each other here on these points of our lives. And um, I'm trying to see like how I can word it because there's like so much that I want to say about it. But one, I feel like when you have a partner that one, you can that they can understand when it's their time to like support you in something, right? And an example of that is like with my studio. Um, I, for the most part, like everything I've done and like created was all me, but he has a huge part in it too because I'm someone that like has all these creative ideas and like I like to be the one to like just bring things together, but I don't know how to like structure it or make it
Yeah.
look like organized or like that's not me. And I am learning that like he fuels that side of me where I'm like lacking. And again, that's like the balance of the feminine and masculine. So
Mhm.
like he takes care of all the masculine things for our relationship. And I've never had that before where someone one like affirms things to me. Like I saw a quote the other day that was like, oh, my man gives me all the love languages. Like, you know how there's like the seven love languages?
Yeah. Mhm.
So it was like, oh, I have all the love languages with my man. And I'm like, that's so true. That's how I
Yeah.
feel. And
Yeah.
that's like, I think having someone that understands, like, okay, I need to step into this right now because maybe you feel depleted right now, or um, let me take something off your plate because I know that maybe you're feeling drained, or like maybe I do need your softness in this point for something. Like we have this understanding where it's like one, we're both very aware that we want to feel good in our bodies, so we feed each other healthy foods. We do have like a problem with pastries, and that's like our
Yes.
thing. So I try to bake more because I'm like, at least it's homemade, so it's not
Yeah.
artificial. you know?
We know what's in it. There's no artificial anything, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So there's that. But we cook together, we like to eat together, we work out together. We've meditated together, but sometimes we definitely do things apart. I don't want people thinking like we don't do anything with each other. Like we definitely do, but we really like enjoy each other's company so much. Like so yeah, I feel like our relationship hits all the pillars of like being aware of oneself and also understanding like my partner's not perfect, I'm not perfect, and as we continue to be together, we're still going to be changing and we're still going to go through challenges where it's like it's not always going to be easy, and it's not something that like I expect him to be perfect, and I know he doesn't expect me to be perfect. So there's just like an understanding of we have the same. I feel like we both are very full of integrity, and like
Yes.
we can be honest with each other.
Mhm.
And I'm someone that's like very direct with things, and it's not because I'm trying to be like aggressive, but
Mhm.
it's more of like I just want to get to the root of things
Yes. Mhm.
consistently. So
Yes.
I think our relationship is something that is still, to be honest with you, like new to me, even though we've been together for 5 years now. We turned 5 years in on the 24th.
Ooh.
And yeah, so it's just been like it's it's a beautiful, beautiful relationship. And I'm like I said, I'm so grateful for him. And we've definitely gone through like a lot of hardships together within just this period that we've been together. Um, and it's definitely like helped us grow with like understanding how like I said earlier, like there's going to be moments where like you need to be the one to step in for your man,
Yeah.
or you need to step in for your girl. And it's understanding that your partner's not going to always have the best days, and you're
Yeah.
not going to have the best days.
Yeah.
You can't take those days personal and try to make it about you.
Mm,
Like you need to, someone has to be in the feminine and someone has to be in the masculine consistently. Like even if you're in a same-sex relationship,
mhm.
someone has to know when to be the soft one and someone has to know when to take the lead. And I feel like I have that balance with my
Mhm.
man, and I'm super grateful for him because um I admire like everything that he offers to me, from like the structure, the way he leads, the way he supports me, and like and everything. Like it's
Yeah.
still like a big blessing. And yeah, so it's a really beautiful experience, and I'm super grateful that I get to be with him and share life with
Ah,
him.
I love that. And I love it because a lot of us think that it's understanding your partner. But from
Mhm.
what I'm hearing from you, it's like a next level. It's understanding that we're going to grow, we're going to change. You know what I mean? We're not always going to, we're human, right? We're not perfect. We're going to have bad days. We're going to have good days. You know what I mean? But it's, so it's understand, it's more than understanding your partner or trying to understand your partner. It's just understanding basic facts, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and I think that sometimes people feel like, um, relationships have to be um, so self-serving, you know what I mean? So that it
Mhm.
becomes so one-sided, or it just becomes, really like one-sided, all about the person, all about the woman or all about the male, and no
Yeah.
one's taking care of each other, everyone's
Yes.
just like a battle.
Yes.
So I love that you have that. I also love that you were able to share that here because I think that it's important that people hear those things. We see little, photos of couples, the relationship goals all day long on social media,
Yeah.
but it's to me, it's about hearing the realness,
Yes.
it all. So that's
Yeah.
beautiful. And I'm glad you have that.
Me too, me too, me too. Thank you. It's and to the point of that too. Like I said, I have this is still new to me, right? Like because I've had to work on my. And that's kind of like the point that I wanted to make. Know that I was able to receive this type of relationship because of the work I did
Yes.
for myself.
Mhm.
Because the truth is that when we got together officially, I had gone to my own retreat, and I had taken time away from everything and just kind of was like, I'll be with my man whenever it's time, and I'm just going to focus on myself, and I'm not going to take anything personal. So I had already accepted that, like,
Yes.
whenever it's meant to be, it'll be, and I'm not going to like force anything. And I feel like a big part of why everything has been like in alignment with our relationship is because we are both consciously doing the work for
Yes.
ourselves. And I think that that's the biggest part of relationships just in general. Because like you said, you can see on social media all these wonderful lavish relationships and all these things, which is cool, and it's it's beautiful, but at the
I'm
same.
like, it's cute or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
But
But the truth is, like, that's only like a percentage of someone's relationship. And then behind the scenes, like, God bless everyone's relationship and hopefully it's good behind the scenes. But the truth is, like, everyone has bad days and we go through ups and downs. We go through moments where we might not feel as pretty, or, you might not feel as handsome. And there's like tons of human experiences that we go through. So if you're with someone just because of the looks of it, or if you're with someone just because of you wanting to prove a point that your relationship is lasting, I promise you all those things come up later. Like it's an energetic law that it will come up. So that's why when relationships end and people are like, I thought they were so happy or blah, blah, blah. And it's like because there was some sort of
Yeah.
energetic thing going on that no one else knew about that they
Yeah.
probably were trying to avoid. And now it's in the surface.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. So it's like if you, I'm like, I feel like I should say this. So like if you have some sort of resentment or something that you're avoiding to talk to like your partner about, or if you feel like they're going to judge you for it or whatever the case is, know that you're causing like an energetic block in the relationship. Because if you can't be truthful with this person that you're with, then especially if you're being like sexually intimate, you're creating this exchange and now they're going to feel it in their body. Even
Yes.
if they don't comprehend it, it's still going to be in their body.
Yeah.
And that manifests in something so that there's an issue later or there's a disagreement sometime. Like it causes something to happen. So it's like when people feel like you can hide behind lies or be sneaky, it's like it's only going to last for so long, and it's everything comes out to the light. Like
Yeah.
that's just the
Yeah.
truth.
That saying, "What's done in the dark comes to light," and that applies
Yes.
to eat, like you said, energy as well. And it's,
Yeah.
I think it's important that you mentioned that because that's like one of the biggest things that people kept saying during my last breakup. But you guys were so cute together. I'm like, cute does not soothe my soul. Like, no, like cute is not enough. Like, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Being a cute little family was
Yeah.
not fulfilling.
Yes.
I want
Yeah.
to live. I
Yeah.
want to thrive. I want someone I can share my life with. I don't want
Mhm.
to feel like you said, I don't want those energy blocks. I don't want to feel less like myself. Um,
Yeah.
and we
Exactly.
want a place where we can thrive and be and figure out life together. You know what I mean? So
Yes. That's
I,
a beautiful point to say this, to say that you want to be yourself. I think that that's like the key where you feel like you can be your true self with someone and not feel like you're getting judged or feeling like you can't show every aspect of you towards this person. To me, that is key. Like um with relating to like the root chakra yesterday, I was trying to say that like our bodies hold all the messages.
mhm.
And so when your body's feeling comfortable with someone, like in a way that you're just like feeling all this warmth around this person and you just feel like so safe and you don't feel like something's gonna go down or
Yeah,
like you're not in like a fear-based mode,
yeah,
and you know that it's not just like you feeling infatuated with the person, it's more of like a safety and like a soul remembrance type of
yeah,
feel. And it's like if you don't know what that means, it's because it hasn't happened yet. So it's just like a real feeling that happens in the body where you're just like, oh my god, okay, I feel like I'm at home now.
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel safe like that. And that's to feel like you could feel to be yourself. That's like the key to it. You have
yeah.
to be able to feel like you could be yourself.
Yes. And I'm learning for me that it's for all relationships. I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of people know here on this channel, I literally have a collection called Big because I had a habit of shrinking myself. And
Mm,
with each person, I would shrink a different thing and shape myself into being who they wanted me to be. And
mm,
that was romantic, that was friendship, that was business.
yeah,
And so I'm learning that I would just rather work with and be friends with and be romantic with people where I can be my full self. And if they cannot hold my fullness, then they are not for me. So
100%.
I think it's important that like you said, we have those safe spaces.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So I want to dip a little into grief. Um, and I want to know so we've talked about that previously here on this channel, what our grieving process is. And
Mm,
so I want to know a little bit about your grieving process and also how you help clients through their grief.
Mhm. Yeah. So grief has been a big thing for me, just to share with people, and I'm very open about my grief. So my mom passed away on April 20th of 2024, and my dad passed away on April 4th of 2025. Um, and in between, before and after their passings, I also had like a cousin pass away out of nowhere, and my boyfriend's grandma had passed away. So like I went
Yeah,
through a lot of funerals within a short period of time. Um, so one, I would say like my experience with grief for my parents. One, having to like honestly, I'm still processing the grief. But my mom's passing was like really heavy for me. I was really close with my mom, and she passed away from dementia, and it's like a really nasty disease because it's what I've learned just like with my practices and just spiritually, that it's a big disconnection from like the soul and the body.
yeah,
And so I had to like do a lot of self-care for myself during those times when my mom passed. Like my amazing boyfriend had to step in for me. He was like cooking for me, cleaning, washing my clothes. Like I was just grieving and I couldn't really do anything. Um, and when my dad passed, there was that a lot of like different synchronicities that happened when my dad passed, where it was like real signs that like my mom was dropping hints like he's gonna come with me now, and there's just a lot. But
yeah,
um with their passing, um I've had to really lean in on others, and also understand that I need to give myself like grace with everything that I did,
mhm,
because there is a real thing with grief brain. And like it's kind of like when people feel like they have like postpartum brain when they just
yeah,
give birth. And the truth is, like, I've taken a lot of grief classes, and the reason that grief brain is a thing, just like postpartum, like your body just went through this huge trauma,
yeah,
and now it's trying to collect thoughts and trying to like communicate with your heart that you're safe, and your body just feels like fatigued. So there's all of these things that are happening because of grief. But um I've like I told her, like a lot of people that have asked me about my grief, that if I wasn't in this world of spirituality, I don't know how I would have functioned with
yeah,
losing both of my parents. Because I did lean in on all my tools for myself.
mhm,
And I went to my teachers. I went on another retreat with these curanderas, which are medicine women from indigenous practices. So I got like cleansed from them. And I like isolated myself, like a
mhm,
healthy isolation, but I definitely isolated myself and took time to make space for my grief. And I didn't shy away. Like if I knew that I was going to cry out of nowhere cuz it just hits you, I was just honest, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I just lost my parents, and I'm still processing my grief.
yeah,
Like giving yourself language for your pain is so important with grief, because I feel like I've worked with clients that before my parents transitioned, I held space for people that had lost their parents and or had parents transition, and Um, I'm a big empath too, and I could feel their pain and everything. But when it's your actual parents and it's you, the one that's in it, is so different than you empathizing with
Yes.
someone. And um, before I used to believe that, it's a helpful thing to just tell people, like, I'm sorry, for your loss. But the truth is, like, I'm very grateful for anyone that, says that, because I know it's always coming from
Yeah.
a true place, and it's just out of kindness. But the truth is that now understanding grief, and again, if I didn't have my practices, I don't know how I would be, but um when you're telling someone that's going through grief, like, you're sorry, it gives off of, like, feeling bad, right? Like, you feel bad for this person. And with grief, that only goes so far, and sometimes it makes it worse.
Worse. Yeah.
And
Because it's like pity. Like you
yeah, and then it's like you're reminding the person of the sad feeling of the grief, right? And instead, it's more helpful to bring up positive energy towards them for the grief, like, um saying something like, they would be very proud of you for whatever you accomplished, or in big moments of your life where you would wish, like, these people were there, and you feel sad that, that they're not there anymore. But then someone that, you love and care for, that you could empathize with and tell them, like, they'd be really proud of you right now, or they're always with you, or you can always speak to them. Things like that are more encouraging. And I always advocate people, or like tell people, to have altars. So, like, dedicated space for your loved ones that
Mhm.
have passed, to where you can still bond with their spirit and communicate with them, because they 100%, I don't care what anyone says, they can hear you, and they can come in to your space and communicate with you and drop you messages just to let you know that they're really around. And I think that with grief too, and I'm just talking about grief in the sense of, like, loved ones passing, right? Because
Yeah.
grief is in
And
many
yeah.
facets. There's
Mhm.
many facets of it. But as far as, like, losing a loved one, I feel like having an altar is, like, a huge thing. And I know some people don't like to call it that, but you don't have to. But just having a dedicated space where that could even become like your own meditation, that you're
Mhm.
just like, let me have some time to connect with my loved one that passed. And so, yeah, that's what I did. In my studio, I have a floating altar for my parents, where I show everyone that comes in the space, like, this is a part of my practice, and this is why I do what I do, a big part of it. So I have, like, a dedicated space for them. And the same thing in my home. I have many altars for my, like, cousins, my uncles, and things like that. But yeah, for me, it's just connecting with them spiritually, taking time to, like, honor them, honor my grief, like, when it comes up, isolating yourself, because you do need time to recharge. Like, you get overstimulated with grief,
Yeah.
and it's too much to just be around a lot of people, or, but then there's grief of, like, a breakup and stuff, and or a death of your past self. Those are
Yeah.
still
Exactly.
times of grief. And for those, I would say, leaning in more on, like, your creative side, because creativity gives you the momentum to build something new, and like, alchemize that energy
Yes.
to something like, better for you, so you don't have to sit with the grief as long, because that kind of grief is more, it can move faster than,
Yeah.
like, grief that someone
Exactly.
passed.
Mhm. And I
Yeah.
think that, like you said, being creative, I feel like it gives you answers too, right? Because
Mhm.
if you're being creative, you can greater understand why that shift needed to happen to begin with.
Yes.
Why you needed to exit that relationship, why that old part of you needed to go, why the part of you that you thought you were gonna be
Mhm.
doesn't really connect with the healed part of you now. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
I do think that that is 100% necessary. I think it's beautiful to the way you honor your the death of the loved ones, you know, the
Mhm.
transition. I think that that's beautiful as well. I've always admired that, like having the altar, having a way to still connect.
Mhm.
I think that's extremely important, and I'm glad that you gave us that tip. Because
Mhm.
I never liked to say I'm sorry for your loss. But that's what we're taught, right? So
Yes.
what we say, you know, when I
Yeah.
lost my brother, my therapist, the first thing she asked me was, "What's my favorite memory of him?" I
Mm.
felt like that was for me, that was better because
Yes.
now I get to talk and laugh and joke, you know,
Yes.
um, instead of like, "Oh, yeah, this sad thing happened, and now I have to live with it." Like, you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
so I think that that's beautiful, and I think that that's very helpful information,
Yeah.
for us all.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's um it's so like we're not taught about grief. Like the way our society works with things, like obviously it's very dysfunctional.
Yes.
But we're not taught about grief. And that's why we all feel awkward about it
Mm,
because we all think that we're immortal beings and we're going to be here forever physically when we're not. And the truth is like our time is like limited and we don't know when it's our time. So for people to lean in on spirituality and just understanding yourself and understanding like the connections and the abilities that we actually do have to connect with people that have transitioned and things like that. It's so powerful. And I'm like super grateful to be alive right now because I feel like we're getting closer and closer and closer to have more people awaken to that. And
yes.
that's where like, life is doesn't have to be hard. It can be, wavy, like we go through ups and downs, but it doesn't have to be miserable. But it does take awareness and it does take like the choice because
Mm,
it's a choice at the end of the day. And some
yep.
people sometimes choose to not do that. And
Yeah.
that's okay, but it does affect our collective consciousness. So
Yes.
it's just like, I guess it's fine, but it's really not. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree 100%. I do feel like even within my days, what I've decided to embrace the storm, and I've said that before, but I feel like last towards in my new year starts in November. So in my new year, I feel like I was more I made a greater commitment to embracing the storm. And so even
Mhm,
within today, there was a lot of ups and downs, but
mhm,
ultimately today was a great day. You know what I
mhm.
mean? And so I'm learning to really embrace the highs and the lows and really be grateful for them because
Yeah,
one, a high doesn't feel like a high unless you have a low, anyways. And
mhm.
two, I just know that it's shaping me, one, for what I want, but also two, to be better for the people that I'm meant to speak to, the lives that I'm meant to touch.
Yes.
And I can't be that person without the lows,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true, and that's why, like, that's a part of your gift, and, like, that's a thing that I feel like, a lot of people lose sometimes, or not lose, but tend to forget that following others or like trends or just like not being unique to yourself and your own unique personality and your own gifts and your own, purpose of life, it really does affect other people because there's a reason that you're meant to do certain things because there's a whole other tribe of people around you waiting for you to do something. And sometimes when you hold back, then you're holding back your gift with helping other people. And it could be as big as something like that you think of or as small as something, but it's just honoring whatever you feel is supposed to come to you and express it. Like we're supposed to be expressing all those things. And um it does delay people's blessings when you hold back. And that's always the thing that I always tell people, like in my group sound baths, like if you feel called to share, please share. And you never know that the message can hit someone else in this space, and it could be like you're giving a message to them. I've had that happen in my workshops like so many times, where someone will be like, oh my God, I saw this and it went to this person next to me. And then someone was like, oh my God, that represents my grandma. And like,
Yeah.
there's all these beautiful things that happen. But it's like, if you don't speak up and you don't say these things, you could be like, you know, affecting the whole vibration that's supposed to be
Yeah.
happening at that time.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that you open that space for individuals because I think it starts with school, right? We're always afraid of what the next person's gonna think if we don't know something, or if we say something, or if we sound silly saying something, or
Yeah.
if it sounds too spiritual or too deep, or if
Yeah.
it doesn't land, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and so I think it's important, like you said, to have that space because you never know. You
Yeah.
never know who it's gonna reach at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. It's so powerful too. Like, and then it like it literally it energetically like it does help you receive more as well,
Yeah,
because you did your job by passing something along to someone that blesses them in a certain way, and now you get that energy back. So now you get blessed in a certain way after doing that. So it's
yes,
like it's a win-win for everyone.
exactly.
But it's just being confident enough to saying like, I don't know if this makes sense, but I'm going to say it anyways
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's
And then I feel like it increases your self-trust because you're like,
Mhm.
"Wow, like, I said that, I trusted myself enough to say it, and then on top of that, it impacted someone." So it's like, "Oh, I'm
Mhm.
gonna keep trusting my intuition and my discernment. Imma keep
Yeah.
doing that."
Yes, exactly, exactly. That's literally how you that's like a throat chakra practice, to
Yes,
say things like that and to confirm, and you're fueling that energy of your own autonomy of like speaking up, and that automatically makes you feel things and get more replenished. And then of course like your intuition is going to be on point because you're always giving and exchanging this energy
yes,
flow that your body's like meant to do.
yes. That's so powerful. That that speaks to me so much because for me, my throat chakra was blocked for a long time. Uh
Mm,
from childhood because I spoke up and advocated for myself, but it didn't get me anywhere.
mm,
And then, I was raised in church and we were taught to hold our tongue and turn the other cheek, and I
mhm,
misunderstood it, right? So I just allowed a lot of disrespect. And
mm,
so it just like years of just that, right?
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
and then I slowly started to heal, and then I did the talk show, and then I interacted
mm.
with people, and it just started to, open up, and then different things that I post online, and like there's always like that small little unhealed part of me that's like, girl, they're not gonna understand that that's too deep, or it's like this is just some mumble jumble that you thought of in the shower. And then like I'm like, but we're posting it anyways. And then I'll get a message. I might not get someone on threads might not get it, someone on LinkedIn might not get it, but then someone on Facebook is like, girl, you're speaking to me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, I'm glad because I was speaking to me too.
Yeah, yeah, that's such a beautiful, example, because it's so true, like, when people feel that's oh my god, that reminded me, like, I tell people all the time, you feel like, I feel like right now, like we live in a generation that we're supposed to just be very performative, and like we're supposed to make sure we're very like quick with getting people's attention of stuff. But the truth is like, yeah, that's cool and everything. And like, obviously you want to reach as many people, but sometimes you don't want to reach everyone. And
Yes,
sometimes you aren't meant to connect with everyone. So it's okay that maybe it's not hitting everyone in the same way because you're talking to specific people,
yes,
and it's those people that you want to connect with. And it's those people that you want to speak to, and they will be cheering you on more than the people that you think are supposed to be cheering you
Yes,
on.
exactly. And that's one of the greatest things that I'm learning is presence over
Mhm.
performance. I want
Yes.
to be present. I want to show up as fully as I can, as authentically as I can. I don't want to perform. I did it most of my life. I don't want to do that anymore. And
Mhm.
like you said, the people who are supposed to or who are going to be drawn to me or are in alignment with me, they're going to come,
Mhm.
they're going to be there. And it
Yeah.
may be seasonal. Maybe they just needed those words from me during that season. And now they can go on and take care of their flock.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but it's helping. That's also helping me with letting go and grieving.
Mm.
I like to like hold on to people and like hold their hands, and I was like, it's not for that all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes
I
you
feel
go on
you.
the cheek and send them on their way.
Yeah, I feel you. And that's just because you have a good heart and like you care. And so it's natural to like feel like that. But that's also a part of like you were saying, you're going through your own thing and you want to protect your energy. And that's a part of it is like understanding that you could be empathetic for someone or towards someone, but you have to also discern like when it's like, okay, now I have to let you go
Yeah.
and just let you experience. I gave you the tools, I told you what I think would help, and
Yes.
ultimately it's still up to you how it happens. Like
Yes.
I always for people with my sessions, I always tell people like I'm going to guide you through these things. Like I'm not leaving you alone, but I can't do it for you. And I'm going to give you all the things like outlined, but it is on you if you decide to do it.
Yes.
So it's the same thing as like, how how bad do you want to heal these
Mhm.
things, and how much do you want to change, or how uncomfortable or how comfortable are you with getting uncomfortable, because a lot of that is what it takes to heal things. And sometimes we're so stuck in our human brain thinking that we have to present ourselves in a certain way or heal in a certain way or look in a certain way to heal. Like all these things that come up for people is just someone else's thoughts of
Outside,
you,
yeah. It's
and it's
outside.
not like helpful. So it's not really meant to be like that for us. Like we all have our own thing, but at the end of the day, it's like how much you're willing to go, like how far you're willing to go.
Exactly. And if
Mm,
you take accountability, what step you tried to skip that
yeah,
may not work, so now you gotta relearn it, like I said, I'm
exactly,
telling you, we know us, we know our mistakes,
exactly.
we know what we're capable of,
Yes,
and it's like you said, it's up to us
yeah,
to do it, to do the work, to put the work in.
yeah.
And then I think that us as humans, like you said, I was watching this video and she was saying that God was telling her now she's messing up the next person's blessing because she was holding on to them too tight. So it's
Mm,
like they needed to go down this journey, and she's like trying to, you know, protect them or help them heal or whatever. But now she's keeping them from growing and healing and developing on their own because some of the work we have to do by ourselves, like you said. Like I'm
yes.
giving you the tools, but now it's up to you to use the tools.
Yes, yes, 100%, 100%. I think that that's like a big part of just like life in general, from like working with people like in my practice and stuff, but then also just like being a mom, you have to understand that like as a parent, you have no control over your
Yes,
kids. Like, I know that
yes.
might be controversial or whatever, but the
But
truth
it's
is like
true.
you don't have control over them. Like you have a huge impact
Yep.
on their lives, and you for sure will set up like a foundation for them, whether that's good or bad or whatever, but they are always going to go through life in their own journeys and their own ways. And the truth is like kids are just borrowed. Like we don't own them. We don't own anyone. we
Yeah,
just we
yeah,
just are ourselves. So it's like
yeah.
when parents sometimes like are so rigid with their kids about things, um it always like breaks my heart because I'm always like you're just like not understanding, but
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
there's so much healing and awareness that comes when you are a parent, and it's because like that's literally a gift,
Yes.
and it's meant for you to help, like it's meant for you to heal with the child. Like they're supposed to mirror things for you so
Yes.
that you understand what you didn't fix.
Mhm.
And my son just turned 18 on the 19th of this month, and I was 18 when I had him.
Yes.
And so this was like a huge, like a full
Yeah.
circle moment with me because I was just like, I can't even imagine him having a child at this age. And I asked him, and he was like, I would never have a child at this age. So I was like, good, okay. 'Cause that's a part of the healing.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
but yeah, it's always a thing that it's like at the end of the day, we all have free will as much as we might feel like we don't sometimes, we do. And we all have to go through our ups and downs, and that's just how it is. And it's just it comes back down to like how much you take care of yourself when you're trying to get out of the low,
Yeah.
because there's always going to be lows. Like that's just life. And I think it's when we have all these outlets like social media where it seems like everything always has to be put together, everything has to be wonderful and fun and everything and happy, but it's like that's not real life. Like these are just moments to
Yeah.
catch your attention, but that's not where the change happens. It's
Yes.
in the darkness and in all the pain and stuff that happens.
Yes. Yes. And it's like that's one of the things I see posted a lot is like healing is ugly. It's hard. It's not,
Mhm.
it's not gonna be like this, oh, I'm just doing yoga in the forest and life is so much better for me now. Like part of it to some degree, but there's a lot
Yeah,
of random crying and
yeah,
you know, like,
yeah.
oh, I was wrong about that.
Mhm, that.
Oh, I gotta forgive myself because I allowed that,
Yes.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that people know that. I think that it's so challenging that they just choose not to do it. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and my hope is that because it like you said, there is a shift happening because of
Mhm.
the trends. Um, but because the trends are hyping up stuff that does actually work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, I'm hoping that more people do choose because there's just so much beauty in finding yourself
Mhm.
underneath all of that performance and all that clutter and all the I'm supposed to be this. Uh,
Mhm.
there's so much beauty in just understanding yourself and loving yourself, but your true self, not that fake person that you
Yes. Yeah.
presented yourself to be all these years?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's so true. It's it's funny because I'm like, I think once you feel like I don't want to say like you've mastered it because I feel like we're always working towards things. We can't really necessarily master anything, but um once you can, I think that's what I was gonna say. Once you feel comfortable with yourself that like you can walk into a room, and I think this is like a quote that I seen somewhere, or I'm just making it up, I don't know. But I think it's when you can walk into a room to be your authentic self and then walk out and not worry about what they are thinking about you when you're gone. Like to feel like that is so powerful because I definitely always, worry about what people think about me, but not in a sense for like acceptance, more of like I just want to make sure I resonate with what they need to
Mhm.
receive. That's my only concern when I ever do anything. Like I just want to make sure that we're aligning. That's it. But not because I feel like I need to perform in a certain way for you. It's more of like I'm just making sure you're receiving this of what we're
Yes.
doing. But I know that sometimes some people struggle with being their just genuine selves because they're constantly speaking negatively to themselves, and
Yeah.
then they're feeling like this other person or audience or whatever is judging them in that same way, when
Mhm.
it's like it's you. It's you,
Yeah.
it's your
Yeah.
mind telling you those things, not these people or the
Mhm.
situation. But and then it's like, and if these people are something, it's okay, because now you are learning something about yourself, and it's an opportunity for you to like change something, not to be hard on yourself. And that's, I'm like, that's a big part of healing, is like
Yeah.
you have to understand, like, as you get older and doing the work of healing, at its core of it is that you're reparenting your inner child. Like
Yes.
that's all it is. At the end of the day, you're coming back to your inner child to heal those parts of you. And sometimes they're like kid ages, sometimes they're
Yeah.
teenager ages.
I have a 3-year-old and 13-year-old.
That's
And
interesting.
I know when it's which one is acting up.
Mm, that's good. That's good. That's
Yeah,
interesting though, because it's like it would, you said 3 to 13, so you had a decade of something that changed.
yeah, it's
That's interesting.
I usually know when so it's like the 3-year-old just she just kind of wants what she wants right now. And
Mm,
if I'm lonely and
mm,
I just kind of feel like I need to abandon my boundaries and just cleave to whoever wants me in that moment, I'm like, that's my 3-year-old. My
yeah,
13-year-old, she's a little different because she's a little hot and cold. She's a teenager, so she's a little hot and cold.
yeah,
So it's like, I like this, but I don't really feel it. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's like, hold on now, So I had to realize that like when those feelings come, I have to check the situation because sometimes there is an issue there, or sometimes it's just the unhealed part of me that's trying to get used to something healthy, right?
right, right.
Um, or me adapting to being okay with being lonely in certain moments, right?
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
but so I just kind of I'm learning to slow down
mm,
to parent them, but also to slow down to listen to my intuition because I had to have a talk. Like I had to really separate my mind, body, and intuition.
mhm,
And I realized that my body had gotten used to just moving. Um my mind had got used to just moving. And so
mm,
I wasn't listening to my body or listening to my intuition, but I'm sure you know and most people know you're going to feel it in your body first.
mhm,
And your intuition stores like all the lessons and stuff like that and observations and stuff. And
mhm.
so for my mind to just be going and not listening to my body and my intuition, it's like, girl, are you crazy? Like,
Yes,
what are you doing? But that
yeah.
was survival mode. So now that I've exited
Mhm,
survival mode, I'm learning to slow down, listen to my
mhm,
body, listen to my intuition.
mhm,
If it's like my inner child or my inner teenager acting up, like my intuition will then guide them because my intuition is really like a mama, like really nurturing,
mhm,
really loving. And so I've just been learning to really slow down. My mind moves so fast and it's a beautiful thing. It's powerful, but sometimes it's hindering. And that's
yes.
what my intuition was telling me. Like, yeah, girl, you're good, but because you're good at healing yourself. But sometimes you put yourself in positions where you wouldn't have had to heal yourself if you would have slowed down and listened to me.
Mhm. That's such a good point. Such a good point, and it's so true, it's so true. It's it's that part, right, of, like, first having the awareness that, one, like, these things come up for us, like, with the triggers, right? And the triggers are unhealed versions of you that are coming up because of a specific scenario that reminds your brain of something that was similar, right? It's never really that person, it's the situation. And that's when your mind is telling you all these things. But the truth is if like you're not paying attention to your body and noticing like the subtle cues of things that's coming up. And you're just, like you said, in your head, and you're just going with what your head is saying. Your body's like overloaded. And now, of course, your intuition's going to be off because it's like, wait, what are you doing right now? Like, what's happening? And that's literally like our brains work like that. Like,
Yeah.
there's certain neurons in our brains. I can't remember the specific one, but there's one that basically catches up a little bit later to calm down like that busy part of our brain. I want to remember the name, but I can't remember right now. But there's a specific part in the brain. I promise you, if you look it up, it'll be there. But it's basically the part of the brain that reacts later to tell you, like, oh, wait, that wasn't a snake on the ground. That was just like a rope that you stepped
Yeah.
on. Or
Yeah.
something, you know, like, and you're just like, oh my God, I can't,
Yeah.
it's after that initial fear that the other part of the brain, but it's because your body slowly stops, right? Like you're starting to regulate yourself. So now that other part of your brain can come back in and observe it in a different way, where it is like your intuition to understand and analyze what's happening, instead of just thinking of something to make you feel fearful of
Yeah.
whatever the situation is. So it's catching those moments and like really sitting with it to remind yourself of like, oh, yeah, I was really tripping that time. Like
Yeah.
maybe take a minute next time to like not react so fast to that.
Yes.
Because it's always that, right? Like
Yeah.
we all have had that kind of moment in our life where we're like, dang, I overreacted for that, or
Yeah.
I didn't mean that, like, and it's normal, but then it's like, okay, you understand that, so now really, really like feel into it. So letting your body pick up on that cue where it's like, okay, we can't behave that way, and
Yes.
now your brain is going to be like, okay, let's like do something to kind of not use that wire, because it's literally wires that we're going back to in our brain. I don't know if it what study it was, but it said that like we have 70 to like 80% of the same thoughts every day. Like we have recycled thoughts
Yeah.
every day. So if you're choosing to think about a negative thought or something that is going to keep hindering your mind, you're feeding that
Yeah.
energy. So you're creating that strength to that wire every time you think of that negative thought. But the powerful thing is like, it's the same thing for positive things. Like if you
Yeah.
keep thinking positive things, that's why it really does change certain things in your life, because
Yeah.
you're strengthening that part of your brain, and then obviously like your reality ends up being a certain way because of that.
Yes. And I love that because that reminded me what I wanted to say about the self-talk
Mm.
because um what I learned from me with my self-talk, it was my negative self-talk was things that people repeatedly said about me. So it was like people
Mm.
collectively didn't like about me, but it was like in different settings, right?
Mm.
And so it was their voices, not mine, right?
Mhm.
Because it would be stuff that I'm really loud. And so a lot of people make a comment on that, right? But it's stuff that I love about myself, but I
Yeah.
learned to not like because
Mm.
collectively people didn't like, right? And
Yes.
so that kept feeding I kept feeding those thoughts, and so then I would minimize that part of me. I would try to
Yeah.
talk lower or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have both. I have range, I know when to use it. I know when someone needs a calming, loving tone. I
Right.
know. Uh,
Yeah.
but so it's like check your self-talk because
Mhm.
a lot of times it's not stuff that it's the people that you have allowed around you to keep saying to you and you're now feeding it, right? Uh,
100%.
and then I feel like that's where the affirmations come in. That's where 'cause a
Mhm.
lot of people when I started on my affirmation journey, a lot of people were like, "Wasn't it just lies or isn't it just this or isn't it?" And it's like I'm telling myself stuff that I need to hear about myself,
Yeah.
right? And it started off with one of the most popular ones, which is "I am enough." But then I realized as I got to know myself, it's not that I don't think that I'm enough, because actually I'm more than enough, and I'm well aware of that, which is why I had felt the need to shrink, right? Uh,
Yeah.
it's more so that I didn't feel like I was worthy of the things that I wanted.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
now it's specific. I am worthy of love. I'm worthy
Mhm.
of, healthy connections. I'm worthy
Mhm.
of honest conversations. I'm worthy of
Mhm.
someone being open and direct. So I'm specific about it. And I think that we have to figure out what we need.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
that's going to shift that self talk, but also writing to ourselves. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Is gonna shift that self-talk and change those thoughts, our regular daily thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as
I
much as
love affirmations. It's like it was one of the things that I think honestly like started changing things for me too on my spiritual journey because one, like affirmations, I know some people, like you were saying, like some people are like, are you just lying to yourself? Like, are you just like making things up just to say
yeah,
it? But the truth is, like, they're literally like scientific prayers. There's frequencies. And if you do it in a certain way, right? Like, of course, anything is just something basic if there's no intention behind it. So
yep,
it's the intention that you have behind the affirmation because there's so many studies that have shown people will be like in groups of I think Joe Dispenza is one of the ones that did it. But there's like these groups where they would meditate and visualizing someone healing and then doing affirmations for that person. And then they actually do heal whatever that they were praying for or affirming for.
yep,
And it's because of the intention and the person's vibration.
mhm,
So the difference with people just feeling like, well, I said all the affirmations and I don't see anything change or I don't feel any different or whatever. And the truth is like because of the intention that you probably didn't infuse your affirmation with, on top of not regulating your body. So,
yes,
like, our bodies are vibrating at different levels in different parts of us. And if you're trying to affirm something to yourself, but something's off and you're not taking the time to like calm that part of you and you're saying these affirmations just to say it, of course it's not going to do anything. Like
yeah,
you're just it's like you know when you read a book and you don't understand what you just read, you're just reading words. Like it's the same thing.
yes,
It's the same
yes,
thing. So it's like you're not comprehending what you're reading and you're not feeling it, and that's the whole difference of listening to affirmations or saying affirmations versus actually having an intention and letting it actually infuse into your body so that your body understands what's happening. But
yes.
that's, I feel like, the big difference with just saying
Yeah,
things.
I love that. And I wonder if that's I'm gonna say too complex for some people. But I know
Mm,
for me, when I started, like I said, I started with I am enough. I started with I'm fully capable, and stuff like that. But then what I started doing is like I started writing them down, and I
mm,
started recording them
mhm,
and saying them 3 times in the recording. So I am
mm.
enough, I am enough, I am enough, and going from there. And that helped because I'm hearing myself say these positive things about me. So now that's recorded in my mind.
Yeah.
Um, but then as I grew, I would start an audio journal, and then as the audio journal after like, maybe it was like my teenage me or maybe the adult me started after they got were done venting, my intuition stepped in. So
Mm,
then now she's feeding me. She's giving me my affirmation. She's telling me, and
mhm,
it's in a nurturing, loving tone, but you can hear the shift from
mhm,
me
mhm,
saying, "Well, you feel like this because of," you know what I mean? Like I'll talk
mhm.
about how I'm feeling, then my intuition will tell me why I'm feeling like that is connected to this and this and this and this.
Yeah,
And then affirmations are coming and then I'm speaking life. And it's like a
yeah,
full shift. And
yes.
So now that voice is so much louder than anybody else's voice. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I
Yeah.
might consider someone's voice, but then the affirmation will find me in those moments. Take up space.
Yes.
Have the courage to be disliked. In those moments, have the
Yes.
courage to be misunderstood. It's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that there's just so much power in our own voice and hearing our
Yes.
voice say these things to us.
Mhm, mhm. It's that's so true because it's like I know that sometimes it's really uncomfortable for us to hear our own voice, like, I'll
Mhm.
be honest, like, it's hard for me sometimes to record myself and just to hear myself again, but that's because, I was, like, teased about my voice
Yeah,
growing up, and I
yeah,
was told that I sound kinda, like, deeper than, like, my voice and stuff, so I've always had, like, a weird relationship with hearing myself, but I've, one, like, confronted it and just know that, like, I'm trying to reach people, so I have to be comfortable with listening to myself, and, I think that that's also, like, a huge part of the awareness where you're like, "I don't like how I sound," and it's like, why are you affirming that? Like,
yeah,
why are you telling yourself you don't like how you sound? It's who is that voice that's judging you, that's making you think that you sound in a way that you don't wanna sound? So, it's understanding that, like, you can change the narrative of the voice in your head and understand that there's always gonna be some that are gonna try to peek in again, but you have the awareness that that doesn't serve you.
yes,
So it's like what aspect of you do you wanna listen to that you're willing to put that intention towards and, like, that energy where you can be like, "Okay, this is where I wanna feed that side of me, not this other side of me that's trying to
yes,
always self-sabotage things for me," because that's all it does. It just
yes,
sabotages things for
yes,
you.
yes, for sure, for sure. I love that so much. Um, so this conversation is so awesome. And I'm like, we're down to the last question. This is over. But the last question is, what can someone expect in a workshop session or a session with you?
Yeah. So, for basically, like, anything that you do with me, whether it's a workshop or if it's a private session, or if it's a session for your kids, because I do work with kids too, just, the first thing that I always tell people to expect is that, well, I'll actually like to say something more of, like, what I hear from people. And what I always hear is that people feel the warmth in the space, like not just physically, but just energetically, like they feel comfortable and they feel safe in the space. And I'm always super grateful when people say those things to me because, like I said, everything I do is very intentional. And I always pray again in my own way, not in a religious way, just to be able to let you feel that the space was made just for you, like, not for other people or for specific things, like, it's just for you, and because when I do anything for someone, I'm, like literally, I prepare myself to just, like, empty my thoughts of whatever I have going on or, like, whatever things I feel like I need to get done, like, all of that goes out of the door, and I'm just, like, present with the person or people or whatever, and I make sure that I'm like praying for their spiritual guides to feel comfortable to step into the space. I light a candle for them so that they have some sort of honor there to connect to through the light. And I always try my best to educate people. So, like in the workshops, it's all educational, but you also receive Reiki, sound healing. And in the workshops, I give crystals based off of like whatever chakra we're working on. I prepare fresh fruits and vegetables that are organic and that I've also prayed over. And I give like other little goodies in the workshops just to help support you have like some tools that you can
Yeah.
use for whatever we're working on. And the same thing with like sessions. I always give people like a breakdown, an outline of what we discussed, like what came up, what chakra was like imbalanced, what practices or like little rituals you should do to keep the flow of whatever work we did together. Because most of the time, I'll say like 99% of the time, people will feel relief after a session or a workshop. Like they'll just feel a lot lighter.
Wow.
People feel a lot more calm, more clear, more grounded, more open to be able to, like you said, acknowledge like, oh, okay, like it was my fault or something. You know, like there's that aha moment with the sessions or workshops for people because of the space that
Yeah.
was created, right? Like there's sacred space that gets created when you come to have a session or a workshop. But I also use a lot of like herbal medicine. So I make specific like tea blends for
Mhm.
people just to for the inside, right? Like we're healing energetically, but we also need to nourish the inside. So that's why for the workshops, I only give fruits and vegetables, maybe like nut mixes, but it's all intentional. So it's always based off of some sort of connection to the energy center. And it's also to help infuse those cells that need that nourishment because I can't tell you how many times, like, some people will be like, "I've never had this fruit or vegetable before,"
Yeah.
or like, "I didn't know that this was connected to this," and, like, so I love
The block. No, I'm just
yeah.
not right there.
Yeah, that's how I'm like, "Okay, well, cool, now you know." But, yeah, so, like, I always try to help people understand, like, you will be able to heal, fix, get through whatever it is that's going on as long as you are open enough and you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to also change certain habits because it takes time to heal and it takes time to implement these new like practices in your day-to-day life because I know a lot of people like I'll tell them something basic where it's like, okay, people might be like, "Oh, this is just like again, like you're just saying these things," but it's not that. It's like to go outside and really just stand in front of the sun to let the sun hit your face and just let the medicine of the sun continue to like shower through your body. I love to just like sit in front of the sun and just let it hit my face. Like I literally start to I always like tell people to do this when they're trying to feel more charged again in their body, or like, say someone went through something very like depleting, like a very traumatic event or grief or something that they're just like, I don't feel like enough energy in my body. Going outside and stepping on the grass, letting the sun hit your face, letting it hit your head, letting it hit like your whole body, I promise you will change something. Like it's literally medicine for our soul. And in the practices like what I do with indigenous beliefs, like the tribe that my the side on my dad's family came from, it's they believe that the sun literally gives you that medicine for your body to start beginning the electricity through the body. So like your body literally does get charged from it and you start to feel like a whole um like you just replaced your batteries basically, and that's literally how we are. Like we're like these instruments that need different plugs and
Yeah.
replacements and
Yeah.
things, and we forget that like mother earth and outside all the nature things that we have, that's a part of like their creator's medicine, was to get connected with the land and to feel the elements because we're a part of the elements. Like all of our energy centers have a connection to the elements.
Yes.
So when you do connect with it, or like even the water, nature, just anything that's like from the elements, it always helps the body heal. So
Yes.
it's so important to go outside.
Yes, I love that so much. I love that. Make my way. I've already been wanting to, but I want to even more now.
Yeah, you should.
I need both. I need a workshop and a one-on-one session.
Whenever you're ready, girl, come on over.
So what is next for you? What's any upcoming events?
Yeah, so I do host weekly sound baths. So I have one coming up on Wednesday, which is my Wellness Wednesdays. That one I have every Wednesday at 6:30 to 7:30. It's just an hour, but that one is more for people that are just kind of coming in for like to be guided through a meditation. Like I still do sound healing, but it's just like a basic meditation where we're just like letting the stress go. Not so much like the woo-woo side of things, but on Sundays, which is my sacred Sundays at 11 to 12:30, that one I do a sound bath and I do more hands-on work with people. So I will like use specific instruments on the body for the group, and I'll make a herbal tea blend depending on like the people in the space, what I feel energetically might be needed. Sometimes I have like card pulls that we do together. I'll teach them how to like pick the card that's right for them. Sometimes I give them journal prompts. It's just different little things for Sacred Sundays. And then I do include like a smoke cleanse before we start as well for the group. But I do have my chakra series going. So I just got done with the root chakra on yesterday. And the next one is the sacral chakra, and that's going to be on February 22nd. And the chakra series is it's every fourth Sunday of the month
Okay.
at 5:30. And I do have two, three people, four people. So it's I have 6, 7 spots, but there's people that already signed up for from yesterday that are going to move on to the next one. So it's kind of first come, first serve. And I always tell people, you're welcome to jump into whatever class that you want. But the goal is that like you attend all of them so that you can understand all of the energy centers. And
Mhm.
the reason that I have them every month is so you have time for the whole month to take care of the energy center that we learned how to work with it. And then having that activation, you move on to the next one and the next one and the next one. And then different parts of you get like awakened and you start to understand yourself better. And with the workshops, it's been this is my fourth year doing this chakra series, I believe. And it's so powerful to see like one when people come together that are like-minded, and then like I said, you sometimes share messages with each other. Um and I've seen people like completely change. Like I've had some people that came in very shy, very timid, and then at the end of the series they're like super open and very different. And so it's beautiful to watch people's like evolution. And
Yes.
um, I'm super grateful for everyone that's ever like attended a workshop or is attending or have worked with me, because I know that sometimes like people share with me things that they've never shared with anyone. And
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly do not take that for granted at all. And I'm always very vulnerable with the group and with my people in sessions and stuff, because I like to have that human aspect where it's like, I've felt pain and I know what this is like too. Like I wouldn't be here if I didn't, and I wouldn't be doing this work if I didn't know what it felt like to go through hard times. So a lot of my practices are like lived experiences, and I've learned from all different kinds of teachers. But yeah, so I have the workshops, and I'm going to be adding more workshops, more different like fun things where like maybe we can do like essential oil crystal blends together. I'm just trying to kind of gather all that because like there's been so much happening, and I'm trying to also launch a podcast. So there's just like a lot that I'm trying to do, but right now um the things that I have solid are my Wellness Wednesdays and Sacred Sundays, and then my workshops for the chakra series. And I do offer event space too in my studio. So like if people want to come to have like their own group private sound bath, like you're welcome to reach out to me and I can close like one of the Wednesdays or Sundays to where it's just your group. I've had that for a couple people. Um, I also do things with pregnant women where it's like a ceremony to do a mother's blessing. It's a little different from like a baby shower. It's more of like, you know how baby showers are to shower the baby with gifts.
Mhm.
It's more a ceremonial where it's like the mother gets pampered and she gets like different treatment to take care of her and prepare her for birth. Um, but but yeah, I have a lot of different offerings. I also work with kids. I do this little thing that I call Magic with Mel, where I teach kids how to like learn about the energy centers, learn about how to regulate themselves, to put language to their emotions. And I have like little sound healing tools that they can play with themselves and how to like color their aura and everything. So that's always like a little fun part for me because I love seeing the little kids do things that they're just like it's like so natural for them and they just like pick up on it so quickly. I'm just like but but yeah, so those are the things I have going on. And in August, September, after the series of the chakras, I always do a retreat, an annual retreat. And the last 3 years I've been doing them at Mount Shasta. I'm still debating where I'm gonna do it this year, so that'll be, I'll for sure let you know once I figure it out. But, I'm just trying to see if I wanna switch it up or not because 'cause I've been going to Mount Shasta to the same Airbnb and, facilitating it in the same way with um, another spiritual teacher in Mount Shasta. But now I'm just kind of like trying to decide if I want to do it there again or not. But yeah, that's always the goal is like you go through the chakra series, then we have a retreat and people have like a whole other experience there.
Yeah.
But at least now you understand your energy centers, you understand your body, and you can understand the messages that come through because there's always crazy messages that happen in the
Yes.
retreats too, like so
Yes.
many different spiritual things. But yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. That's so awesome. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that I get any links or um, any of that and put that in the description. So if anyone's watching and they want more information, all of that will be in the description. And I'm looking forward to diving in. Even if I have to like get the education in a private session because I
Yeah.
missed the root or the or the syndrome or
Yeah.
whatever. Because definitely want to be aware when I go to the retreat.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yes. So, just wanted to remind you guys before we close out with our affirmations that Friday night after hour show is happening Friday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am hoping that all of the core co-hosts will be there.
Mhm.
I don't think you guys have seen an episode with all of us. I believe there's 6 of us. There's 6 of us. We've
Mhm.
never all been on there at one time. So I'm excited to have an episode with all of them. For those of you who don't know, the Friday night after hours show, we sit back, we all talk about a topic, but it's minds that have captivated me. And I like the way they perceive things. And so we all just chime in on a topic and respect each other's opinion, but we do have a little like, back and forth, little fun. And it's laid back, but it's still
Mhm.
very interesting.
That sounds
So
fun.
yes, so that is Friday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, still right here on YouTube on the Carter Love Network. So I will see you guys there. And now we will close out with our affirmations. So if you can go and give us an affirmation.
Hmm, let me think about that. Okay. So the affirmation that came to me is I am love and I am open to receiving love.
Yes, I
Mm,
love that. I love that.
mhm,
Um, wow, that's powerful.
mhm,
I love it because it's confirmation for me. One of my greatest affirmations is I'm worthy of the love outside of myself and my children. Um,
Mm.
and so I feel like that resonates with me a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
my loves. As always, remember that you are worthy, 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 worthy always. You are
Mm,
worthy of showing up in this world as authentically as possible. You have no other duty but that.
mhm,
You are worthy of healing and all that comes with that. You're worthy of the ups and downs and really embracing those downs because they shape you and they give you messages, they give you power. You're
mm,
worthy of the power that you receive from that. You are worthy of having the courage to be misunderstood, having the courage to be uh, disliked because there's power in that, right? There's power
mm,
in really embracing who we are and not being who people want us to be. You have the power, you are worthy of having the courage to take up space and
mhm,
the power that comes from that. And most importantly, you are worthy, worthy, worthy of unconditional self care and unconditional self love. Until next time,
mhm.
my loves. Bye bye.
Bye.